All right, good morning. We're back with some more trading today. Another good trading day today. 4 more trades here today on Tuesday. Making some money on every single one of them, but they weren't all perfect. So we're going to break them down in the video today. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Let's trade. Okay, so first trade of the day here was on Tesla. It was selling off really nicely here to start the morning after starting green on the day. And I was looking at the $800 calls. So I was looking to play some options here on Tesla if we could get some nice fast movement to the downside. Looking at the 800 call options and using my normal strategy with them. So you can see I get an order out here at 1040 to buy my first contract. And I am in here at 1040 with the $800 calls at the with the expiration at the end of this week. So these are going to be pretty volatile if it starts whipping them back and forth here on Tesla. So watching it here, seeing if it can make a further move down to add in another contract, starting nice and small with only the one contract position here, but it is up in the tens in the premium, so it can also move pretty quickly on the P&L if you're not careful with them. So here it's moving faster, looking to add in another contract here at 960. I put out the order there at 960. Don't get filled immediately, but it's sitting there in case we get that nice push down and get a little bit better average price on there. And just like that, we're going to go ahead and get filled there at 960. We now have 2 contracts at $10 on the average. So a few minutes goes by and it's kind of gone sideways, hasn't really bounced up too much. So I've got an order sitting out there to sell them at 1040 if it pops up there real quick, but it's kind of looking like it's going to continue to the downside. So I'm going to go ahead and look and add in 2 more contracts there. I now have 4 contracts at an average price of $9.22 per contract. So, you know, it's not an ideal trade at this point, but I still think Tesla has a lot of potential to the upside. It continues down though, and this is where it's getting slightly hairy. And I get in a little bit heavier than I would normally like. I'm now in 8 contracts, average price of $861 on the premiums. And at this point, if the price of Tesla comes down below $755, I'm just going to have to cut these out as a loss, because if I keep going at this point, it's just going to get a bit too big on the P&L. I put an order out to sell all 8 at $870, which is really the first huge mistake I made on the day. I should have at least left 1 or 2 if I could get it up there to see if they could run further, but because I was in a little bit heavier than I would like, I put all 8 out at 870 for some reason. So not ideal, but it is what it is. It pops up there. It fills me with 2 contracts initially. You can see the order turned yellow, which means it is a partial fill in Lightspeed. So I got 2 contracts filled there at 870, and I just have the others sitting there still waiting to see if they can get the fill there as well on this bounce back. I really thought it was going to be a nicer, faster bounce back here on Tesla. Unfortunately, it was not when I was in. If you guys saw Tesla today, it did rebound huge pretty much right after this. So I do get the fill there. I'm all out, plus $70. Not really a win here, just kind of cutting this one when I was a little bit deeper than liked and not perfect executions there. So next trade was on JD. You can see it hitting on the scanner right below me into the 20s. A nice pop here on JD, moving up towards the 46.50s. I go ahead and front run that and get 100 shares short here at 46.42 on JD. And we're going to look to add in, of course, if this thing can pop up a bit further, up through the 70s, up through the 75s on JD if it can get up there. So it's moving. It's now pushing, you know, a couple minutes. It hasn't really made another great candle, but I'm watching it here as it pushes 47. It's struggling to get up to that 47, so I go ahead and add in there. Now with 200 shares short at 46.66. I'm sorry. In at 46.66, front running the 47 now because it looked like it was struggling to get up towards that 47. So that's why I hit it before, really both times in this case. So now we're going to see if we can get these shares down below where we started. If you remember, we were in at 46.42. So I'm thinking, okay, if we get down below 46.40, I can take those first 100 shares off and see if the other 100 shares that are at the higher price can make me money. So that's exactly what I do. I take those first 100 shares off there at a $5 profit. So really just cutting those and seeing if the better share prices can make me more money. We're going to see if we can get these down a little bit further towards 46 ideally. So it actually pops right back up towards high a day, and I was contemplating restarting this one if it popped through 47. I was also watching BEKE, which was popping nicely at the time, but JD was not able to make that higher pop and then start shooting down right away. So now I've got 50 shares set to go if we can get down towards 46, looking for through 46 on these next 50 shares, then trying to let the other 50 shares go, ideally down towards 45.50. So we're coming down towards 46 into the 46.20s, into the low 46s, hitting 46 there on the bid, but I'm waiting to see if we can get a break just to see if there's that nice big move down through. It breaks, not a big nice move, so I click it, I get the fill there at 46.90, and we are down to 50 shares left here on JD. Gonna see what they can do. Unfortunately, not much. So it started popping back up, so I go ahead and look at it. I'm like, I'll just put a stop here right at my entry in case this thing now wants to make another move higher after it failed to continue down lower and see what it wants to do, and it does stop me out there. So a little disappointing there on JD that it didn't want to continue, but played it correctly, so okay with that. BILI then popping up here on this scanner. You can see it hitting into the 30s on this scanner right below me. So I'm watching this, seeing if it can get up towards 1950, thinking about front running that $half number again. There it pushes nicely into the 40s. I go ahead and get short with 100 shares at 1943 here on BILI, BILI. And now we're going to see if this can make a nice move up through the 1950s. Obviously not going to get it just right through because of our average price on the first entry, but we're going to see if it can make a bigger move up through the 50s here. So it does get through the 50s. It starts moving a little bit, and watching it, it's getting into the 60s. We'll see if it can get up through into the 70s now. Looking for a nicer move up into the 70s. There it is. I go ahead and get the add in there at 1975. Now I have 200 shares short at 19. We'll just call it 60 to make it even. Looking to get more if it wants to pop up through 20. And this is where we will start with the bigger share size now. If it gets up a nice pop through 20, we'll add in 200 shares. I'm watching it. It moved quickly right up to 2020. So I was like, okay, I think I can get this up through 2020. If we get a nice little pop there, I think I can get an even better price on these shares. So there it is. Big nice pop there. I get that up at 2039, 2038, something like that. And I now have 400 shares short at 1995. And I start thinking about it. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do with these shares? I'm like, okay, if we get down below 1980, I will probably take 3/4 off. Once again, the same concept, get the worst priced shares off and see if I can make some money with the better priced shares. So watching it here, seeing if we can get down below 1980. Got my finger on the button ready to go. If it breaks there with those 300, there it is. And I get the fill there. I now have 100 shares left here on BILI. And once again, going to try and piece this one out if I can get it to come down further. So watching it here as it moves down towards 1950, going to take another 50 shares off right there, right in front of 1950, just in case it wanted to pop off of that $half number, just kind of the same process in reverse. So down to 50 shares now here in BILI. Going to look for another 25 shares here. Really thought I had a potential to piece this one out even further if we can get down below the 1940s on BILI. So we're watching it here. Got 25 shares loading up there in the montage, and we're going to wait and see if we can get below 1940 here on BILI. So comes down into the 40s, looking to see if it can break that 40 though on the bid. Kind of sitting in the mid 40s here for a minute or two, and we're just sitting and waiting, see what's going to happen. Only 50 shares left here, so either way, no big deal. But it does start coming down. It breaks 40 there. Go ahead and get those 25 shares filled at 1940. We now have 25 shares left here on BILI. Unfortunately, this one started popping up though, and it made a pretty fast move up there, so I didn't cover it out on that initial candle. I waited till it pulled back a little bit, then I covered out the whole thing there with the other 25 shares to close out the BILI trade, and we're now up $200 on the day, and I thought I was probably done. Feeling pretty good, but PDD then started popping up. This thing was ripping here. I was watching it here as it got up through the 2950s, 2960s. I go ahead and start a short here, 100 shares at 2961. You can see this one hitting into the 40s right below me on the intensity scanner. So lots of good alerts today coming off of the scanner, giving us a chance to make some money. Now, I did make an error on PDD here, because at this point in the day, I was pretty ready to be done trading. I was like, all right, if we get down below 29, I will probably just take the whole thing off instead of piecing it off and trying to fade it like I had done with the previous two trades. So I was watching it here. I popped down pretty quickly. Didn't get to fill there initially on 29, and then it will go ahead and get me filled a minute later. So made a nice move there, but PDD, had I pieced this one out, just went pretty much straight down after that. So a little bit disappointing there that this is the one that I chose not to piece out, kind of like Tesla. So the two I chose not to piece out were the two that really made the runs back in my direction. But that's how it goes. So that's going to do it for me today. 4 trades again. Sorry if I was all jumping up in my mind there. I'm pretty tired. I'm going to go take a nap. If you want to use the scanners that get all these alerts, that get all these wins, 8 for 8 to start the week, having a great month, had a great February, having a great year. Check out the link in the description below for the Intensity Stockwatch scanner. Use code GDTISW for 20 to 30% off every single month. I'll see you later.